welcome to Metagame Mastery, where it's not just about what the card does, but how it impacts the game. Today we are all about zombies, and we're taking a look at the Scarab God, Zombie Horde Commander EDH deck tech. If you enjoy this content, click that subscribe button so you have access to all our latest content. And if you're looking to support the channel, check out our Amazon affiliate link in the description below. Without further ado, big time, go time. Let's go. So for our commander, we are featuring an absolute standard powerhouse that's getting ready to rotate out this fall. The Scarab God is 5 CMC, 3 colorless, blue-black for a 5/5 legendary creature god. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses X life and you scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control. You can pay 2 colorless, blue and a black, exile target creature card from a graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. And when the Scarab God dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Wow, this guy does it all. He's a 5/5 for 5, putting a massive body on the board. His third ability is all the protection you need in most games, making it so that anything short of tucking or exiling him, you won't have to pay the commander tax to put him back in play. And at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses X life, allowing you to drain your opponents every single turn just by building your zombie horde. You don't even need to turn them sideways. And then lastly, his second ability is 4 mana for an instant speed reanimate spell that can bring back creatures even bigger than they were originally, and it can target creatures from any graveyard. This is going to be the best general for this strategy by far. And what strategy is that? Well, it's Zombie Tribal, of course. Lich Lord of Unks is 3 CMC, 1 colorless, blue and a black for a 2/2 zombie wizard. You could pay a blue and a black, tap them, put a 1/1 blue-black zombie wizard creature token on to the battlefield. You can also pay 2 blue and 2 black. Target opponent loses X life and puts the top X cards of his or her library into their graveyard, where X is the number of zombies you control. This is additional life loss just for having zombies on the board, and we are going to flood the board with zombies. Don't worry about that. And it populates their graveyard so that you can reanimate targets out of it with your second ability off your commander. This is awesome redundancy. Absolutely the Scarab God's best friend at EDH. Army of the Damned is 8 CMC, 5 colorless, black for a sorcery. Create 13 tapped 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. It also has flashback of 7 colorless, black, allowing you to put 26 zombies on the board off of 1 card. That's an absolute army in a can. Speaking of armies in a can, the original Grave Titan is 6 CMC, 4 colorless, black for a 6/6 giant with Death Touch. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, put 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield, allowing us to perpetually fill the board with more and more zombies and grow the value from our life drain abilities. Jasu Vest is a recent addition from Dominaria. He's 4 CMC, 2 colorless, black for a 4/5 legendary zombie knight with a kicker of 5 colorless and a black. He has menace, and when he enters the battlefield, if he was kicked, create 8 2/2 black zombie knight creature tokens with menace. Flooding the board with 9 zombies for only 10 mana that also have menace is incredible value in this deck. Rooftop Storm is 6 CMC, 5 colorless, and blue for enchantment. You may pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost for zombie creature spells you cast. That sounds like a good price. Gary, where are you? That's right, it's Grey Merchant of Asphodel. He's 5 CMC, 3 colorless, black for a 2/4 zombie. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life. where X is your devotion to black. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. Absolute huge swing when it comes to life totals when you play this guy. And you could bring him back with your commander's second ability, allowing you to double up on his effectiveness. Brutal! Cemetery Reaper is 1 colorless black for a 2/2 zombie. Other zombie creatures you control get +1/+1. You could pay 2 colorless and a black, tap him, exile target creature card from a graveyard, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. So he's a zombie lord who generates more zombies. Sounds good. Death Baron is being reprinted in Core 2019. He's 3 CMC, 1 colorless black for a 2/2 zombie wizard. Skeletons you control and other zombies you control get +1 and have death touch. Havengoul Runebinder is 4 CMC, 2 colorless blue for a 2/2 human wizard. You could pay 2 colorless and blue, exile creature card from your graveyard. Put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield, then put a +1/+1 counter on each zombie creature you control. So this guy generates zombies, and he acts as a zombie lord. Sounds good. Liliana's Mastery is 5 CMC, 3 colorless black for an enchantment. Zombies you control get +1/+1. When it enters the battlefield, create 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. Generate zombies, zombie lord. The value just keeps rolling. Lord of the Undead is 3 CMC, 1 colorless black for a 2/2 zombie lord. All zombies get +1/+1. You can pay 1 colorless and a black, tap him, return target zombie card from your graveyard to your hand. Just getting that additional recursion and card advantage in the process. Lord of the Accursed is 3 CMC, 2 colorless and a black for a 2/3 zombie. Other zombies you control get +1/+1. You can pay 1 colorless and a black, tap them. All zombies gain menace until end of turn. So much value. It's ridiculous. Undead Warchief is 4 CMC, 2 colorless black for a 1/1 zombie. Zombie spells you cast cost 1 colorless less to cast, and zombie creatures you control get +2/+1. That includes himself, so he is 3/2 at all times. Diregraph Captain is 3 CMC, 1 colorless, blue and a black for a 2/2 zombie soldier with death touch. Other zombie creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever another zombie you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life. Not only are we getting a zombie lord, but we get the additional value that if any of them die, we get to life drain our opponents immediately. In fact, that leads us to our next point. This is a combo deck with Gravecrawler, which is 1 black mana for a 2/1 zombie that can't block, but you can cast it from your graveyard as long as you control a zombie. Shouldn't be a problem in this deck. And Phyrexian Altar is 3 colorless mana for an artifact, sacrifice a creature, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So if you already have 1 zombie out and Gravecrawler in your graveyard and Phyrexian Altar on the board, you can sacrifice Gravecrawler to the Phyrexian Altar to create 1 black mana. That's floating. The sacrifice puts Gravecrawler in your graveyard. You spend that 1 black mana to put Gravecrawler back in play. You have infinite death triggers. If you have Diregraph Captain or Vengeful Dead, which is 4 CMC, 3 colorless and a black for a 3/2 zombie. Whenever Vengeful Dead or another zombie is put into your graveyard from play, each opponent loses 1 life. Or Plague Belcher, which is 3 CMC, 2 colorless and a black for a 5/4 zombie beast with menace. When it enters the battlefield, put 2 -1/-1 counters on target creature you control. Whenever another zombie you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. If you have any of these 3 life drainers in play, and you get that infinite death loop going with Gravecrawler and Phyrexian Altar, you can infinitely drain out all of your opponents in one shot. And of course, it wouldn't be Dimir without control. So let's take a look at our massive removal suite. First, we have Call to the Grave. It's 5 CMC, 4 colorless and black for an enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a non-zombie creature. At the beginning of your end step, if no creatures on the battlefield, sacrifice Call to the Grave. This is super oppressive, making it so that our opponents are constantly being hit with an edict effect every single turn that they have to keep up with, and it doesn't affect 90% of what we play in this deck. Dictate of Erebos is 5 CMC, 3 colorless, black for an enchantment with flash. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. This is great since we're running several sack engines and we're populating the board with tokens, turning each one of those sack outlets into an edict effect for all of our opponents. Grave Pact is 4 CMC, 1 colorless, black for an enchantment. Whenever a creature you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, each other player sacrifices a creature. Same thing as Dictate of Erebos. Everything I said applies here, just giving us incredible value from repeated removal. Sheoldred Whispering One is 7 CMC, 5 colorless, black for a 6/6 legendary creature, Praetor, with Swamp Walk. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature. Once again, we're just forcing them to continuously face these edict effects, and we're getting a free reanimate every single turn, playing into our reanimate sub-theme in the deck, which I'll touch on later. Also, this is a great reanimation target. She's just as good as a 4/4 as she is a 6/6. Snuff Out is the best single target removal you can get in black for this format. It's 3 colorless and a black for an instant, but if you control Swamp, you can pay 4 life rather than pay its mana cost. Destroy target non-black creature. It can't be regenerated. That's right. 0 mana, instant, destroy target non-black creature. Boom! Ravenous Chupacabra is 4 CMC, 2 colorless, black for a 2/2 beast horror. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature and opponent controls. This thing is solid. Not just giving us value, getting a 2/2 body on the board, and destroying an opponent's creature, but when this dies, and it will eventually die, it's pretty fragile as a 2/2, we bring it back as a zombie with our commander, and it's a 4/4 for 4 that kills a second creature. That's value. Shriekmaw is 5 CMC, 4 colorless, and a black for a 3/2 elemental with fear. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target non-artifact, non-black creature. It also has an evoke cost of 1 colorless and a black. Evoke is you may cast the spell for its evoke cost. If you do, it's sacrificed when it enters the battlefield. So this is amazing. We don't even need to cast this creature normally. We'll just pay the evoke cost. It's essentially terror, and we can bring it back as a 4/4 zombie with our commander getting its ability a second time. Huge card advantage there. Amazing value. Grimgrin Corpseborn is 5 CMC, 3 colorless, blue-black for a 5/5 legendary zombie warrior. When he enters the battlefield tapped and doesn't untap during your untap step. Sacrifice another creature, untap Grimgrin, and put a +1/+1 counter on him. Whenever Grimgrin attacks, destroy target creature defending player controls and put a +1/+1 counter on Grimgrin. Oh my gosh. His drawback doesn't even frickin' matter. He's a free sack outlet. He's a 5/5 for 5 that grows every time you activate his free sack outlet. And every time you attack with him, you get to do single target removal on that player, which also grows him. There's so much value here, it's incredible. And it works just as well when he's a 4/4 as when he's a 5/5. Reanimate. Damnation. Just the classic panic button is 4 CMC, 2 colorless, black, black for a sorcery. Destroy all creatures. They can't be regenerated. Cyclonic Rift is 1 colorless and a black for an instant. Return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand. Or you could overload it for 6 colorless and a blue and return all non-land permanents you don't control to their owner's hands. Boom! Life's Finale is 6 CMC, 4 colorless, black, black for a sorcery. Destroy all creatures, then search target opponent's library for up to 3 creature cards and put them into his or her graveyard. That player shuffles their library. Not only is this a great panic button for when you do need a board wipe, but this allows you to tutor out cards from your opponent's decks to populate their graveyard that you can target with your commander's reanimation ability. Of course, if we're playing blue and black, we've got to draw cards. So we run Crypt Breaker. It's 1 black mana for a 1/1 zombie. You can pay 1 colorless and a black, tap him, discard a card, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. Or you could tap 3 untapped zombies you control to draw a card and you lose 1 life. The amount of zombies we're going to generate, we can draw a ton of cards every single turn just off of this 1 mana spell. Baleful Strix is blue and a black for a 1/1 artifact creature bird with flying at death touch. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. So that's fine. You get a rattlesnake card that replaces itself. That's good value right there. But when it dies, not only are you getting the 2-for-1 of removing whatever it blocked and drawing a card, but then you can bring it back as a 4/4 flying death touch that allows you to draw a second card. That's incredible value in this deck. Mull Drifter is 5 CMC, 4 colorless, and a blue for a 2/2 elemental with flying. When it enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards. It also has an invoke cost of 2 colorless and blue. So you drop this on turn 3, you draw 2 cards, and it goes into your graveyard. Then you reanimate it, it becomes a 4/4 flyer, and you draw 2 more cards. Huge value. Shadowmage Infiltrator is 3 CMC, 1 colorless, blue black for a 1/3 human wizard with fear. When it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. So this guy is repeatable card draw with no downside. Already very good. But then when he eventually dies, you can bring him back as a 4/4 with fear that is a repeatable card draw. Great value in this deck. Factor Fiction is 4 CMC, 3 colorless, and a blue for an instant. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Put 1 pile into your hand and the other in your graveyard. Just an amazing way for you to control card quality, get card advantage in most cases, and populate your graveyard in the process. Everything we want for this deck. Forgotten Creation is 4 CMC, 3 colorless, and a blue for a 3/3 zombie horror with Skulk. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may discard all the cards in your hand. If you do, draw that many cards. Awesome way for you to wheel every single turn and populate your graveyard in the process. Jin-Gitaxias Core Augur is 10 CMC, 8 colorless, blue for a 5/4 legendary creature Praetor with flash. At the beginning of your end step, draw 7 cards. Each opponent's maximum hand size is reduced by 7. This card wins games. It's an amazing reanimation target, allowing you to gain massive card advantage, populate your graveyard, and make it so that your opponents are top decking the rest of the game. Just as good as a 4/4 as it is a 5/4. Ancient Excavation is 4 CMC, 2 colorless, blue and black for an instant. Draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand, then discard a card for each card drawn this way. It also has basic land cycling too. This is a great card quality control engine that also populates your graveyard, which is just what we're looking for in this deck. Technically, it's a form of card disadvantage, but the ability to do such a massive swing when it comes to the creatures that you put in your graveyard, when it comes to card quality, is absolutely worth it. And in a pinch, you can even use it as a tutor to fix your mana. Notion Thief is 4 CMC, 2 colorless, blue and black for a 3/1 human rogue with flash. If an opponent would draw a card, except the first one he or she draws in each of his or her draw steps, instead that player skips that draw and you draw a card, turning all of your opponent's card advantage into your own. This guy's amazing and particularly troublesome because not only is he going to make it so that you alone get card advantage for as long as he's in play, but he's just as good as a 4/4 later on down the road. He's also particularly devastating when paired with a wheel effect. Windfall is 3 CMC, 2 colorless and blue for a sorcery. Each player discards his or her hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards a player discards this way, making it so that only you draw those cards. And everybody populates their graveyards, giving you additional options. Perfect. And if Windfall's good, Whispering Madness is even better. It's 4 CMC, 2 colorless, blue and black for a sorcery. Each player discards his or her hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards a player discarded this way. But it has Cipher, which means then you may exile this spell card encoded on a creature you control. Whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player, its controller may cast a copy of the encoded card without paying its mana cost. Slip this onto one of your evasive attackers and wheel repeatedly every single turn. But why leave drawing our combo pieces to chance when we could just tutor it up? We run Entomb, 1 black mana for an instant, search your library for a card and put that card into the graveyard, then shuffle your library. Just a great way to get our reanimation targets into our graveyard where we want them. Buried Alive is 3 CMC, 2 colorless and black for a sorcery. Search your library for up to 3 creature cards and put them onto your graveyard, then shuffle your library. 3 tutors for 3 mana, populating our graveyard for reanimation targets. Amazing. Corpse Harvester is 5 CMC, 3 colorless, black for a 3/3 zombie wizard. You can pay 1 colorless and black, tap him, sacrifice a creature. Search your library for a zombie card and a swamp card. Reveal them and put them into your hand. Then shuffle your library. This guy is a sack outlet. He's a tutor card for zombies, and he's card advantage, providing us 2 cards for 1 creature in play every single turn. Amazing. Demonic Tutor is the classic. It's only 2 mana, 1 colorless and a black sorcery. Search your library for a card and put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library. Perfect. We're also running the second best tutor in the game, Vampiric Tutor. 1 black mana for an instant. Search your library for a card, any card, then shuffle your library and put that card on top of it. You lose 2 life. So much value for so little cost. Sidisi, the Undead Vizier, is 5 CMC, 3 colorless, black for a 4/6 legendary zombie Naga with Death Touch and Exploit. When Sidisi exploits a creature, You may search your library for a card and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Sidisi can target herself, you can reanimate her, and tutor again. It's amazing the value you get off of this card, and it synergizes perfectly with all our zombie tribal effects. Lastly, we have Mystical Tutor. It's 1 blue mana for an instant. Search your library for an instant or sorcery card, field that card, shuffle your library, and put that card on top of it. A great way for you to draw into the perfect answer for whatever situation you might find yourself in. This deck's very mana hungry, so we run a powerful ramp package. Sol Ring is 1 colorless mana for an artifact. Tap it to add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. There is no better staple in this format. Dimir Signet is 2 colorless mana for an artifact. You can pay 1 colorless, tap it, add a blue and a black to your mana pool. Felwar Stone is 2 colorless mana for an artifact. Tap it, add to your mana pool 1 mana of any color a land an opponent controls could produce. Commander Spear is 3 colorless mana for an artifact. Tap it, add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Sacrifice Commander Spear, draw a card. It taps for any mana you need in your deck, and when you no longer need it, it replaces itself. Coalition Relic is 3 colorless mana for an artifact. Tap it, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. You can also tap it to put a charge counter on Coalition Relic. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, remove all charge counters from Coalition Relic. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool for each charge counter removed this way. Just a great way to ramp up 2 mana in a turn. Chromatic Lantern is 3 colorless mana for an artifact. Lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. You can also tap it to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. It's a mana rock, and it is the ultimate mana fixing. Gilded Lotus is 5 colorless mana for an artifact. Add 3 mana of any 1 color. And lastly, we have Nightscape Familiar. He's 2 CMC, 1 colorless and a black for a 1/1 zombie. Blue spells and red spells you cast cost 1 colorless less to cast, and you can pay 1 colorless and a black to regenerate him. So he's a Sapphire Medallion stapled onto a zombie that will benefit from all our tribal synergies. Amazing. And the last section covers our reanimation and value cards. Reanimate, the classic. It is 1 black mana for sorcery. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. You lose life equal to its converted mana cost. It doesn't get more value than that. Animate Dead is 2 CMC, 1 colorless and black for an enchantment or a return target creature from the graveyard to the battlefield. If Animate Dead leaves the battlefield, sacrifice that creature. Enchanted creature gets -1, -0. Relentless Dead is 2 black for a 2/2 zombie with menace. When it dies, you may pay 1 black. If you do, return it to its owner's hand. When it dies, you may pay X. If you do, return another target zombie creature card with converted mana cost X from your graveyard to the battlefield. With all our sack outlets, this is a repeatable reanimation spell that we can activate over and over and over again. Liliana, Death's Majesty, is 5 CMC, 3 colorless, black for a legendary planeswalker with a starting loyalty of 5. Her +1 ability is create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Her -3 ability, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature is a black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. And her -7 ability, destroy all non-zombie creatures. Wow, she does it all in this deck. She generates zombie tokens. She populates our graveyard. She reanimates And when she does so, she turns them into zombies. And then lastly, she's a one-sided board wipe, destroying our opponent's stuff and leaving our zombies alone. Consuming Aberration is 5 CMC, 3 colorless, blue-black for horror. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your opponent's graveyards. Whenever you cast a spell, each opponent reveals cards from the top of his or her library until he or she reveals a land card, then puts those cards into his or her graveyard. Yes, he's potentially a big beastie, but what we're running him for is just constantly populating our opponent's graveyards with targets for us to reanimate. And last, but certainly not least, is Paradox Haze. 3 CMC, 2 colorless, and a blue for an enchantment aura, enchant player. At the beginning of enchanted player's first upkeep each turn, that player gets an additional upkeep step after this step. So you get 2 upkeeps a turn, allowing you to activate your Drain Life and Scry abilities on your commander twice every single turn. That's it for today. If you enjoy our content, click that subscribe button so you get access to all our latest videos. And if you're looking to support the channel, check out our Amazon affiliate link in the description below. This has been Metagame Mastery. Peace!